All right, cool.
Bro.
Now we got some really cool. What's this game? Trails, Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure gameplay going on. Let's go. Those ninja kicks. Yes, sir.
By the way, let me know how I sound if I'm cutting off or not, because I'm playing an online game.
Well, fun fact, you're gonna have to do voice check. So,
Yes, sir.
so go ahead and
So funny, huh?
go ahead and see if your if your chicken voice.
Shut up. Testing, testing, 1, 2.
Really? I recognize some of these characters on the screen, then others I don't think I came across yet. Sweet. I'm excited to play it. Trails to Azure.
Oh yeah. Well, can you hear me?
I can. Yes, keep talking though.
Oh, this black coffee's actually pretty lit. Hold up.
Hey, yo.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's
good,
good? Nothing. I'm saying it's good.
Okay, talking, talkity talk, skibbity bop boop bop.
Can't copyright now.
Alright, we sound beautiful. Oh, stop. No, stop. Okay. Yeah,
Wait,
we
is
sound
that
great.
copyright?
Huh?
No,
Man,
Macho
it's
said
probably
something
macho
about
in his
copyright.
diddly.
Am I what?
You googly googly.
I'm handling what?
And the sugar boogala.
Don't shake it twice. You're just playing with it.
Did we get a copyright?
No, no, no. I was just saying Walt was gonna give us a copyright for doing his skitty that to do.
Oh, okay.
Skibbity bop bop.
and no, that's a real copyright.
No, it's a soundbite. I'm not gonna sing Scatman. What's wrong with you?
Phil Collins and NSYNC will be on our ass.
Innocence is our father. Oriath is our mother. When a daughter strays from the light, she makes herself an orphan. Learn well the lessons of Res class will teach you, which it is your only hope of finding your way home.
Okay.
I'm playing Path of the Exile because Diablo 4 left me with an itch.
Oh, that's interesting.
Then you
I
better scratch
Yes,
play that game for like 30 minutes.
it.
it truly is a free Diablo.
Yeah.
But hey, man, anything to. I was thinking we'll get into it, but I was thinking of different.
Yeah, that's the bootleg version.
Yes, sir. That'll be a witch, probably.
You really can't go back to the older ones after you played the newest one, huh?
Nah, I tried Diablo 3, bro, but nah. We'll talk about it. Oh.
Okay then. Well, I'm ready to go. We got gameplay going. Sounds good. I'm feeling good. Again, I got my delicious coffee here. I thought, honestly, fellas, I thought I was gonna be adverse to just drinking coffee straight because I've been drinking with milk and sugar, like coconut palm sugar, for the past couple of weeks, and it's been a breeze. My mornings have been plentiful and amazing. But I went to the doctors. I have high cholesterol, so I need to bring it down a little bit. So.
All right. Why? How
Listen,
many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I'm the old man, exactly. I'm the old man now. I'm the old man. I gotta watch everything now. It didn't help though that I had Taco Bell and then pizza and mac and cheese like the whole
What?
month of March. Not in like a week. Throughout the month of March, I had like more than I should have. And so when I went for when I called you to Taco Bell, my doctor's appointment like 2 days before it. So of course my cholesterol was going to be high when I went to go
You
get my blood
said
work.
you're
But
dying.
it actually wasn't bad. I was like, maybe I need to change something. My dad's like, no, you're good. Just relax and don't go too crazy on the oils and the cheese. I was like, okay.
Oils. Oh man, this man put a whole oil down his throat.
Exactly. You know how it is. Avocado oil at that too. The healthy stuff.
Hey, yo,
The stuff that's
a
really
bad
good for you. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't no way.
Happy 20th anniversary to Square Enix, by the way. It's funny enough. Funny enough, on April Fool's Day in America, that's the same day that Square that merged with Enix back in April 1st, 2003.
And they pulled the biggest goof of all, making the most wacky, clownish JRPGs in history. I'm kidding.
Hey man,
That really was the
they went on to
biggest
produce
show of them all.
greatness afterwards, but yeah, it
They
is what it
said
is.
we can't be too diverse in our games. No, I'm kidding.
Jesus Christ, we got a dog.
Only in FF14, and the diversity will be humans and animals.
That's wild, right? Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that's all fantasy is. It's diversity. Just put some cat ears on her and call her a cat.
I mean, I can't say anything about Barrett because I know some people have contention with the way he's depicted, but
Baron? Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. It's like you look at him and you can see how
the Mr. T
through
references
the
and all
lenses
that.
of JRPGs, you can kind of see how Japan views America. Um,
Yeah,
but
just
not to the detriment. Like I wouldn't say that it's like inherently malicious. It's just a bit, just a
stereotypical.
lack of
Yeah.
perspective. Yeah, stereotypical, but also they view us as like extravagant and fascinating at times. So they like kind of exaggerate those aspects from us.
Yeah, yeah.
But it
I
is
mean,
what it is.
Barrett's an amazing father, though. I will say that.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like he's one of the best game dads ever. Not Joel. Joel's not a good game dad. Barrett's a
No,
good
he's
game
awful.
dad.
Oh, Joel's pretty bad. Joel, as much as I love Last of Us, Joel is probably top 10 villain dads in history.
That sounds like a good list we should make eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, happy
There's a
20th
lot of-
anniversary to Square Enix celebration. Real quick, fellas, your top memory of Square Enix games, if you have any.
And I got none. Are y'all ready or what? What's going on?
My top moment was
Here we
learning
go, Walt.
learning
Here we go.
learning how much Aerith and Tifa were bays in Kingdom Hearts 2. I love those moments. When she punched the wall, that just sent a shiver down my spine.
Well, you ready to start this podcast?
And somewhere else too. Walt, what about you, buddy?
What?
What? Huh?
Anyway,
That coffee
guys,
doing
welcome,
things to you,
welcome
bro.
to episode 96 of the DualShock Sense podcast. I am your host, Soul, the connoisseur anime waifus, joined by my two co-hosts. We have Walt here. How you doing, man?
What's going on, y'all? My favorite Square Enix memory might be the time that I discovered FF15 and how that changed my life forever. Because that's the first Square Enix game I ever put more than 100 hours into, and I enjoyed every single moment of it. And I realized just how great Square was. At that point, Luminous, but Luminous ain't great anymore because whatever the fuck. I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Uh,
Sheesh.
how are you? I love you. What's that?
No, I just said sheesh.
Yes.
I'm doing great, man. We also got Macho here. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good, man. The King of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy fanatic, back again. I'll ignore your little. I'm not sure what that was you just did. Well, maybe you should practice that or
What's that?
something on someone. Any case, I'm doing really good, man. It was a great week. It was really laid back and chill. Got some good games in, and watched a little bit more Better Call Saul, which is a really fantastic show. Yes, sir. That's what I've been doing.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
I think that's it. Yeah, good to go.
Cool. We got a good show planned for you guys. A couple things to talk about here. I'd say finally, like I feel like the biggest news of like the year quite possibly happened this week, so that will be great to talk about. But yeah, I want to remind everyone to go ahead and like the podcast, share it out, all that good stuff. We would greatly appreciate that. And yeah, we're gonna begin the podcast like we always do, talking about the games or just the things that we've been up to for the past week. So who wants to kick things off?
The man that loves his coffee. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's do it. So this week I primarily focused on two games, and one was Octopath Traveler 2. So we're getting closer to, I say more like the mid chapters of each character, or most of the characters rather. And this again, it's a really great JRPG. I don't know what else to really say about it. Other people haven't said about it already. Like it's, if you haven't bought it, go out and buy it. It's amazing. It's a lot of fun. The music is great. The visuals are honestly, Walt. You know the cool announcement of Live Alive coming to PlayStation and Steam earlier this week.
Yes.
I booted that up on PlayStation and it looks great. Like obviously, visual clarity is better because it's not on a Switch, blah blah blah. But man, Octopath Traveler 2 is like a whole nother realm into 2D HD that I'm just looking live. I'm like, oh man,
Are you
Octopath,
saying that?
Octopath looks so
Are you
much
saying
better.
on the PS5?
Yeah,
Where are
yeah.
you playing it originally?
Which one, Octopath?
Yeah, two.
PS5. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you were playing it on Switch.
No. I'm playing both on PS5. So I played Live Alive obviously on Switch, and then I played the Live Alive demo on PlayStation.
And the difference is pretty big.
Oh, it's yeah, night and day. I will say when it comes to just the
Oh man.
graphic fidelity, the way they implement the art style, and to have things just it literally feels like you're playing a painting in Octopath Traveler 2.
Wow.
Like we said it before, how 2D HD looks amazing, but like Octopath Traveler 2 knocks out of the park. It looks absolutely gorgeous. But it's a ton of fun. I think I'm really digging the town visiting aspect of it, because usually when you go to certain towns in JRPGs, at least in old ones, you can just talk to NPCs and you don't really have much of interaction when it comes to that. But since each character has their own specific ability they can use in each town, that makes things a little more lively and interactive. So Cassidy, who was like my main protagonist, as a quote unquote main protagonist, she's able to talk to, like, not coerce, but like just basically talk to people, because she's an apothecary, so she's a healer, so she's able to like talk to people in a, what's the word I'm looking for, like a not psychologically, but basically she can just talk to people and get like certain information out of them. So I've been doing that
Like
kind of, and you get like different
telepathically
backgrounds.
or?
No, not telepathically, like legit, like a conversation of sorts. But you just press a button and they review your whole life story to you. Um,
Got it.
so, but it's cool because like it's everyone I come across in each town. I've been to at least like 10 of them. Every story has been different. Like every one of them, it's at least like 6 to 10, maybe more different NPCs in each town, which is really cool. So you get like a background of like one kid in a town who's maybe like an orphan, and then but he has this crush on the girl he's trying to impress. There's another kind of town. Excuse me, the town I just went to was actually a village full of just elderly people and kids because their parents died in a war. So so a lot of the backgrounds on the kids was like this kid belongs to this family, and they're trying to make ends meet by going outside of town, trying to provide for for their family or whatever. So like you get like these really cool backgrounds for each of the NPCs, which is really cool. And there's different abilities for each character too that you're playing as. So Throne, who's the thief character in the game, she's able to just steal from people. So I'm actually just going up to vendors and even little kids and taking their toys and stuff like that I can sell. Um,
Damn.
so it's really cool. I'm loving like that sort of like interaction with the world, and it's not just one note. It's actually pretty much there's actually some depth to this. So really good stuff there. And then the other game I'm playing has been Marvel Midnight Suns, and I just put like 4 to 5 hours into it yesterday, and I'm really loving this game, man. Walt, this is definitely be up your alley when it comes to the strategy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
These social aspects are so weird. I went stargazing with Ghost Rider the other day, bird watching
Oh
with
man.
Captain Marvel. I went I was painting with Iron Man, and we're talking about how he became Iron Man. What?
You were talking about your feelings.
Oh.
Exactly. He's like, oh.
Aw.
Exactly. We're talking about our feelings. We're painting our canvases and talking about our feely feels and how much we love justice in the world. Yeah, it's so weird, dog. I'm like enjoying just for the comedic factors of it alone. The fact that I'm talking to Captain Marvel, one of like the most powerful freaking superheroes in this entire universe. And she's like, I really respect you, Hunter. You're pretty awesome. I like you a lot. I'm like, I didn't do anything but say you look cool. Like, I don't get the interaction here. But the strategy part of it, like the actual building a deck for your 3 players you get to play as in each of the stages, is so addicting and a lot of fun. The social aspects are more or less kind of like the complement to building out your resources and your decks and your relationships with certain characters, so you can get like really cool combo attacks and stuff like that. So it's not all fruitless. It all has meaning and it all does funnel into this into the grand gameplay that when you're on the field, like all those points and all those interactions really do matter. So I'm
A means
pain
to an end.
yeah, I'm painstakingly going through it. Like, again, it's more funny than anything, but man, the actual gameplay card combat is blowing me away. I think it's really fun and addicting, and I just got Spider-Man last night, and he's such a really cool character when it comes to taking out little smaller minion type characters on the battlefield, which is really great since a lot of them pop up. But when it comes to boss fights, he's gonna be more of the like kind of laid back, little small chip damage kind of character. But yeah, everything else is really cool. I really like in this game. It's really fun, and that's it. That was really my week. And then watching Better Call Saul, but I'm only like 3 episodes in, so nothing really much to say.
Into the whole show
Yeah, the first season.
was good, right? I mean,
It's
I will
really
say,
good.
as good as it starts, I like season one is the weakest. That's how insane that shit gets. And it's not even weak and bad. It's just that it just gets better. It only ramps up.
I can see that because the first episode was pretty chill until like maybe like the last 15-10 minutes or so. Because and the
that
thing is,
that final moment.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that final one, I was like, oh, I was
I
like,
know that person.
yeah, it's like Biznatch. He's
The business. I was like, ah,
yeah, it was
they're
such
dead.
it was such a great moment, just that reveal alone. But yeah, like the
Call her a business.
the first like 40 minutes were like kind of rolling along because it's establishing again like where Jimmy is and like the other characters is a little confusing,
Yeah.
but by episodes 2 and now 3, I'm like really invested in it, and it's really good. So I'm looking forward to watching more.
They really help you, like, kind of help you see the timeline because they go back and forth between the present and the past a lot.
Yeah, I figured that that's what they're doing when they were making the first 10 minutes or so black and white. And I was like, oh, this is a
Yep.
cool like inverse of where he is now supposedly, and then where he was. So I thought that was really cool inverse of like usually in the future is bright and colorful, you're hopeful, but for him it's like it's all black and white and kind of monotone. So I thought that
Essentially.
yeah, I thought that was a really cool touch. And yeah, Biznatch and Nacho's amazing. The character himself.
Favorite character of the prequels
He's
of
he
Better Call Saul.
whenever he's on screen, I'm just glued to like what he's doing because he's so captivating. I don't know what it is, but he's so captivating.
And you know who that performer is, right? The actor. What video game character he's known for?
Oh, no way, Voss from
Yeah.
Far. Oh,
Yes,
it just
Voss
clicked in
from
my
Far Cry
head.
3. Yeah, that's him.
Oh, that's insane.
Mando something. He's amazing, bro. He is incredible.
Wow. Oh, no
That's
wonder he
Voss.
seems so familiar. And like, wow. Okay,
Yeah, I thought the same thing until like season 2. I'm like, I need to look it up, and I'm like, oh, oh,
that's pretty rad. That's pretty rad.
yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that's all I've been doing. It's an exciting week.
Yeah. Ain't it?
Nice.
Ain't it like beautiful to see a show where it's like, oh wow, I can't wait for Walt to just ruin everything. Like it's the kind of thing where you see the Better Call Saul, and if you've seen Breaking Bad, you just know how everything just hits the fan. Shit hits the fan so hard in that show. So it's like, wow, the calm before the storm. Kind of just, oh Jimmy, enjoy this while you can.
Somewhat,
Type of
yeah.
deal.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Good stuff.
this week I watched like 2 more episodes. I'm like on season 3, I think.
Oh
Um,
man, so good.
but yeah, for me, I had like I feel like a lot going on this week. I actually been finishing games. How about that, huh?
Whoa.
Wow, a
Yeah.
games podcast and we're actually playing finishing games. That's wild to me.
Yeah. So first I finally knocked out Hogwarts Legacy.
Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah, so my thoughts on the ending, like I like the whole like spectacle about like how like everyone like comes together for like that final battle, but god fucking damn it, that last boss fight, dude, like I just feel like my biggest issue with the combat, and I like the combat overall, and maybe it's just because like at the end of it, I didn't do like too much side quests, so I was like a little bit underleveled for a lot of like the later half of that game. But I just feel like the evasion in that game, like dodging attacks and things like that, is just like not like it just never works well. Like Macho, I don't know if you remember like the trolls specifically when they're like swinging their clubs, like the red like unblockable attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I could never dodge like the second swing of that attack. It would always get me because just like the dodging in that game is just like it just like to me it does not work, dude. Like there are some attacks where it's just like you will always get hit because the dodge roll is just like for whatever reason it just doesn't work right. And that last boss fight was like the epitome of that, where it's just like I am trying to roll away from these attacks and I am always getting hit no matter what.
It might be a timing thing because I was okay on dodging those, but I know that I think it's a second attack where
Yeah.
they gravitate toward you like a magnet, like how
Yep.
Elden Ring did it sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, for those trolls it was always that second attack.
But also, I
But
feel like the dodge in that game just feels like they said we need a dodge because it's a game.
exactly.
Because
Exactly.
because I don't think for I mean we've all seen some of Harry Potter the movies. Wizards are not knights. They don't dodge like that. If anything, it would have been cool. It would. You don't see Harry like, I need to roll.
Hey man, Harry did his
Like,
thing. He did his thing in
to,
those movies.
listen, the man was the prodigy. But I think that instead of a dodge, they should have had like how in Destiny 2, Soul, the warlock has the like teleportation where
Well,
you
they
jump.
do. They do. They have it's
But
an ability you
make that a
unlock.
default.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, make that a default because it's like your magic, everything's magic. Make it magic from the start. You know what I mean? Because then in the beginning you're turning off a lot of people with the dodge because it's like if this is what the game's gonna be, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know?
Um, yeah, and they do have that like little teleport kind of thing too, but like I
Yeah.
felt that was kind of like iffy. Like it worked like 50-50 for me.
Mm.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's more of like you get in, I'll do like a fire spell, do ignite, and then back out kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I finally finished it. Um,
Nice.
my opinion on that game is I liked it enough to finish it. So, yeah, overall
That's
I did
good.
like it. The next
You roll
game
credits.
that I finished, what was that?
You roll credits on it, and that's something that we don't have to do a platinum for a game to kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The next game that I finished, which kind of came out of nowhere, was Doom 2016.
What the
Uh,
fuck?
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a
yeah.
masterpiece right there.
Well, you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say.
Oh man.
I'm probably with
Uh,
you on that one, honestly.
well, it's just
Oh
like
man.
it's weird because like hearing like years about people rave about this game and say like, oh, how good it is and blah blah blah. It's just like I thought it was fine, like it was like of course the action was cool. I loved using the super shotgun, like that gun carried me like literally as soon as I got it, it carried me like through the end of the game. Um
Hmm.
but like I don't I just feel like that game, like obviously as you progress throughout the entirety of the game, it introduces more and more enemies to you, but like it just doesn't really change. Like I feel like once you get past like level 3 or 4, that's pretty much the rest of the game. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't really
It
change much.
does. I think that in 2016, because it did come out in 2016, right?
Yeah.
Uh, it when it came out, I think it's a close to a masterpiece by the time it came out. But because Eternal exists, it's not a masterpiece anymore. Because then you realize, oh wow, this game was very limited. Like 2016 is like very restrained in a lot of things that it does. But back in the moment, it was like, oh wow, this is like the FPS to play. But
Mhm.
then Eternal just improved upon literally every single aspect. Which, to your point, you never really change versus in Eternal, you change as the enemies get introduced and you kind of learn how to adapt with everything and you get to use your entire arsenal. So, I mean, I don't know if you've played Eternal because I know that
No,
usually you
no.
play newer games first and then the old ones.
Yeah, I started with 2016 because it
Gotcha.
was free on PlayStation Plus, baby.
Sure is.
Uh, so uh so yeah, knocked that game out. Overall I liked it, but I would say in terms of like the Bethesda shooters, I liked Wolfenstein 2 far more than Doom.
Play
Um
Eternal. and trust me, you're gonna see the differences. I don't know if you'll like it, but Eternal is like on a whole different playing field.
I don't know if he will, honestly, because I mean I played
Because it
both.
does have the diversity that he wants, I would say.
It does, it does. I think
Just the
it's
grapple alone, it's
yeah,
insane.
I mean it's fun, but I don't know, like because I played it and I just forgot about it, like I did with Doom 2016 afterwards, and even more, I was exhausted with Eternal. I was absolutely
So think
freaking
about
exhausted.
this. So think about this. Are you gonna listen to the guy that plays FF14 nonstop, or the guy that actually plays FPSs? See, you have to think about
Uh,
these things.
listen, to that point, Macho, I almost got down into a MMO rabbit hole last
Oh
night.
no!
Exactly.
Uh,
So shut your ass
Shut
up.
your hell
Well,
up! I need to pay to play the damn game.
shut
Shut
your
up.
ass up. Well, it's okay. Doom Eternal is good for people who like it, but sometimes people just don't like it. Okay, so
Yeah, and not everyone wants to spend 100 million hours in a game.
yeah,
so like
they do.
I was literally like this close to downloading Elder Scrolls Online.
Why?
Uh,
Why do
it
that to
was
yourself?
like $5 on the store, so it was like, and like
That's too
I
expensive.
But
I,
Final
I
Fantasy
got
14 is free, motherfucker. It's free.
Shut
I
the
got
hell
that itch
up.
to just like create a character, man. I don't know. But
If
so the
anything, ESO is
thing
a bit more accessible for first timers. So, continue.
but the thing that saved me, and like I literally just saw it out of the corner of my eye, and immediately as I saw it, I was like, nope, and exited out of the store. Was that game is like 170 gigs or something like that. So
Oh,
when I saw that, I was
It's a
like,
bit much.
all right, yeah, I'm not doing that.
It's got like 6 expansions, and like each expansion is like 60 hours or something of content. Like the game is big. The game is. I mean, MMOs will do that. Destiny 2 is big, so it's like almost 100 gigs. I think more now with
isn't
Lightfall.
Oh
Warzone
yeah, for
bigger
sure.
than that?
Warzone, I believe, is getting to the 300 mark.
Wow. Holy crap. Okay.
I believe so. I'll fact check that.
But yeah, so trying to think where I was. Yeah, yeah. So finished Doom. The other thing that I did was, you guys were talking about a little movie called Puss in Boots.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Watched it. What a movie, man! What a fantastic movie.
Yes, sir.
But the thing, I felt like I was the only one in the theater because like this character just like fucked me up, dude. But it was funny like going on YouTube and seeing like, oh no, this character has tons of like dedicated YouTube videos to him, and it's fucking ethical bug. I don't know if you guys remember him.
Oh my god.
Like the
The
Wow.
one with
leftist.
with Horner
What?
that's like
Yeah.
Yeah, the
on his
Jiminy
shoulder.
Cricket parody.
It was so funny, dude. Like, just the
Oh my god,
voice
they're
for like,
dead. You let your
but
friends
also,
die.
yeah, exactly. But also just him being like after Horner like took out the Phoenix or whatever, and he's just literally like grazing the entire field in fire. He fans are like calling him like ethical bug, and that's a funny name, so that's what I'm gonna call him.
Okay.
But like as soon as he's just like lighting up everything, he's like, "Oh, I really got my work cut out for me this time." I'm just like, there was a sequence like literally that like I'm just like like not even just like silently laughing to myself. I'm like legit like laughing out loud in the theater because of this character. Like I don't know, man. It was a really really fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I really love the overall message like between like Puss in Boots and like Death. Like I don't know, man. Just top to bottom, like all the characters too, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears and
Yeah.
Horner and like
Fantastic.
there wasn't a character that like I disliked in that movie, which I thought was really really incredible.
The B
So
plots were amazing. Like I
yeah,
loved the B plots as much as I loved the main plot. Like
yeah.
every single the Goldilocks, did not expect her story to be like I that's when I first cried when she's like, "Then I'll get an actual family." I'm like, "Oh, no, don't say that to the bear.
Yeah, that's a
Don't
heartbreaker.
tell him that."
Yeah.
Oh man, I cry. And Perrito, that's the one that broke my heart throughout the entire
Yeah,
movie. Perrito had me crying, like bawling my eyes out.
yeah, man. It was just a fantastic movie.
So good.
And then the last thing I'll talk about is
Mm.
I also
Yes,
downloaded
sir.
a little game called Injustice 2.
Holy,
Wow.
what is it?
Okay.
2000?
Yeah.
Okay. You're in for a good treat.
Yeah, so obviously I'm not a fighting game fan, but I'm literally just playing it for the campaign mode, and it's really good, man. I feel like especially lately, there's been games where, and even Hogwarts Legacy is kind of like guilty for this. Doom 2016 is especially guilty for this, where I'm just like I have a podcast on in the background and I'm just kind of like scrolling on my phone a little bit or kind of going back and forth and not really paying attention to like the story. But like Justice 2, man, I'm literally I'm not on my phone. I have nothing playing in the background. Like I am like focused on like what's happening. I'm like so into it. I just think the premise alone, man, and this is why, out of all the Marvel movies I've watched, Civil War is probably my favorite, just because like that that basic premise of like heroes like fighting against each other is so inherently cool and interesting to me. So yeah, I love the sort of like division between like Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, Black Canary, Green Arrow, and yeah, Harley Quinn. Going up against Superman and Wonder Woman and Black Adam and Cyborg and all that. Like I don't know, that premise is like really cool to me. So yeah, I'm really loving the story mode so far. I'm like 6 chapters in or something like that, or 7.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, I would say that's probably one of WB's or NetherRealm's rather one of their best story modes next to Mortal Kombat 10.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
they really go all out, but Injustice 2, man, that's a winner. It's a
yeah.
real
It's
winner.
it's
And if you
good
want to
stuff.
combine the two things that you tried this week with MMO and DC, you should try the critical acclaim DC Online
Yeah, yeah.
and try that MMO. I hear that MMO, like no cap, is like on the more popular side in terms of free MMOs, and it has like a pretty dedicated fan base. So who knows, man? Maybe you become an MMO man with DC Online. I
Hell
don't know
no.
your life.
Um, so then that also prompted me to go and watch the Injustice movie. I'm not done with it yet. I'm only like 20 minutes in because I fell asleep. Um,
Oh
but
man.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys have like seen it or like seen clips of it or whatever. But like, I'm really not digging the art style of it. It's really weird. It's like what? Like you know how like Studio Wit with like the first couple of seasons of like Attack on Titan, they kind of have like that black like border on their characters that make
Yeah.
them kind of like really pop.
Hmm.
There's a little bit of that here, but it's like almost too much. Like there's a lot of like black outlining in these characters, and also like I've never really been a fan of characters like big bulky versions, blocky versions, and like Batman is like super like blocky and bulky in this. I don't know, man. Like the characters look a little weird. The art style
You
in
didn't.
general.
So you didn't like Kingpin and Into the Spider Verse?
Uh, a little too much. A little too much for me. A little
It
too
was too
much.
much
Yeah,
for you.
it was the same for me too with Kingpin. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Um,
exaggerated, but I get the artistic choice to do
yeah,
it like that.
but it's definitely not like that. Batman doesn't. It does not look like that.
He
But
doesn't cover the whole screen with his body.
no, no. But yeah, art style not my favorite, but the movie so
Okay.
far is pretty damn good. And just a little bit more Destiny 2. It feels like I'm getting back into the swing of things. I had like a string of games where I did like really good. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me this past week. A lot of stuff going on, man. So it was a really fun week. But Walt, what about you, man? Close us out.
I'll close this out with saying that this week, I've been sad because Diablo 4 is not out yet, so I've been trying to scratch that itch. I went ahead and downloaded Path of the Exile or Paths of the Exile. I played for about 10 minutes and I said this is not doing it and I deleted it. And then I went and
It's crazy how
looked
we
for
all
a
had the
list.
same thought. I'm sorry, I needed to because I thought the exact same thing. I looked up gameplay Path of Exile and I said I nope the F out of there. I was like, nah, I'm good.
And now I'm looking into this game. It's called Grim Dawn, which apparently is like the closest thing you can get to like a Diablo experience, and it's pretty good. But you have to pay. So you have to pay for the game because you have to buy it. It's not a free to play. So I'm checking into that one. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it or not. Um, but this week has been mostly just kind of checking a game to play for the next couple of weeks until Diablo 4, and see if there's anything I need to complete or not. I downloaded, funnily enough, I told Macho, guess what I'm playing earlier before the podcast, and I was playing Call of Duty. I was playing Black Ops 4 of
Ew.
all Call of Duties, because I was like,
I had the same
I
reaction.
remember, I remember when I played this game for the first time, I had a blast. Let me download it. I played one match and I'm like, I'm not, no, I no, and I deleted it. There's been a lot of deleting this week. Uh, but then I remembered, I heard an echo in my head, and I said, you know what? I have my D&D group, a couple of people that downloaded it. My Puerto Rican friend group, a couple of them downloaded it, and you, Jay, so you have been playing it. So I decided to check how I feel, and I am re-downloading Destiny 2 to see how that
Mm.
journey pans out for me. Because the last time I played, uh, Beyond Light had come out, and I have not played since Beyond Light. So I have Beyond Light, Witch Queen, and I have Lightfall now. Um, and apparently there's no answers at the end of Lightfall. There's still a lot of questions. And listen, I think Destiny 2 has probably the best world building of any game, has the best lore of any game, and maybe not the best storytelling, but it does have the best just world building. I think Bungie just knocked it out of the park. So I'm gonna dive back in and we'll see if I get addicted again or not, or if I'm gonna have a second second full time job with D2. But I'm excited, man. I needed to delete like 3 games to download it because it's a chunky boy. It's
Yeah.
there's a lot of expansions in it.
And to that point, it's been weird, like, because I mean, you guys know that last year there was a point where I was like absolutely addicted to it, but now it's like, I'll play like a couple matches like here and there, and then it's like I'm good to like get out of there and then like just play something else entirely. So it's like it's funny how that happens, where you can be addicted to
Yeah,
something for a really long period of time, and then just like get to a point where it's like, I'll check in every now and then, but like I'm not that into it anymore.
because it is designed to kind of hook you in and then like okay this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Kind of like Animal Crossing. It's a game that you just dedicate a few hours, maybe a few minutes in a week, and you're kind of good because you did everything. Unless you really want to grind and like try and do roles and do Osiris and do PvP, which I'm a big PvP guy. Um, so I play it more than one should. So I love D2. I remember and this year, y'all, I believe it's the 10-year anniversary for Destiny in general because Destiny the first one came out in 2013, and I've been playing since the beta. So officially, it's been 10 years of Destiny for me. I've officially put in, and I have the time here. I've put in 1,400 hours into Destiny,
Jeez.
and, and I've enjoyed every single moment of it. I've made longtime friends through it. I've made core memories. It has been probably what FF14 has been for you, Macho. Destiny has been for me in my life. It truly is the game I cherish the most. So
Your
we'll
hours
see
don't
how it
prove it.
goes. I'm
Your hours
re-downloading it.
don't prove it, buddy. I put double your time in 14 than you did in 10
Yeah,
years in
because for
Destiny.
14 you need to like have a
That's wow.
mortgage to pay
That's
off the
crazy.
amount of months that you need to play that
Jeez.
That's
damn game.
crazy. Wow.
It's a game that you have to grind for damn relics, and
Wow.
you have to do so much shit. It's same as Destiny. It's only the
Yeah.
FF14 as an MMO.
Yeah.
Destiny and MMO.
Yeah. How's that story,
You
by the way?
boricua.
How's that story, by the way, in
You.
Lightfall? How you like it?
What's that?
How's that story in Lightfall,
What's
by
that?
the way? Do you like it? Is it good?
How's that story? I haven't
Yeah.
downloaded it.
Oh, okay.
You,
Okay.
you. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
say the things that I tell
Yeah.
you off screen because we're in a podcast. We're live. We'll get canceled. Much. We can't talk about
I'm
that.
just fucking with you. I'm glad you. I'm glad.
Shut
Jeez.
up. Shut up. Let Soul talk, Macho. No one wants to hear your JRPG ass.
Man. Um, let's move into the podcast proper and talk about some of these topics, man. We got a lot to talk about. First, do you guys want to talk about The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh man.
Yeah, I actually do. That's actually
Oh
good.
wow,
I
this
do.
man, bro, you said something. This
I'm
man
so
started wagging
excited
his tail.
as a.
Man started. Yeah,
Yeah.
can we, Dad? Can we?
I hate you. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about it. Well, did you watch it?
Yeah.
Soul?
Yeah.
Soul, you watch it too?
Hell no.
I was about to say, I was like, are you curious about Nintendo Switch games, sir? You don't got a
He's
Switch?
a Nintendo hater. This man says,
Actually,
you know that guy
actually,
from the Boondocks, the guy that what was it, the blind guy that he's like hating so hard that he trains in hell comes back to
Oh,
life to
yeah.
keep hating. That's
Yeah.
you, Soul, with Nintendo. It's
No,
like,
it's just like I don't have a Switch, man. So like,
buy
I
one.
why am I watching a game that I can't play? I did see one clip though of Link putting some logs together and making a raft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
was
was like,
cool,
hey,
man.
game of the year.
Yes, sir.
I
No,
know,
there's
I
no
know,
log building
I
since Breath
know,
of the Wild.
I know, y'all Nintendo weirdos were cheering when y'all saw that.
Listen, when he put those locks together and then he shifted one up a
Yo,
little bit, I was like, "Hey, yo, this is game changing! I can't wait to play
Hey,
this."
yo, brother,
but go ahead.
brother.
What was so exciting about this?
Honestly, I think the biggest highlight for me was I was looking for what's the biggest difference between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, other than the fact that, and we all know here, like sequels are going to be sequels, there's going to be some like familiarity with the first game, but I want to know what new mechanics they're going to throw into here. And funny enough, so it was the putting together different objects to create things and to explore, keep exploring the world, but it was also the weapon fusing that I thought was really cool. Again, nothing, nothing game inventing or genre defining or anything like that, but I think it's really cool that they kind of answered their whole, well, every weapon can kind of break super easily. Well, now you can fuse weapons, and that can make them stronger, and it could literally be just about anything in the world. And the gameplay demo, it was a stick to a rock, and then there was also, I think it was like I think a stick to like a pitchfork or something like that. So it
A
made,
stick to a stick.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was stick to stick, so basically making the weapon longer so that you can poke enemies from afar. So I thought it was really cool, and just the whole Sky Island thing was really nice too. And but yeah, it got me
Yeah,
excited just for like the possibility, of just kind of jumping into the world and really just figuring out what to do and how to do it in my own way. I thought it was really cool.
yeah. I love the verticality. I love the verticality and just how much, because with Breath of the Wild, it's the kind of thing where you look into the horizon and it's like, oh, I can go there. In this one, it's not just the horizon. You look up down, you can go there, and that's amazing. I love how much there is to explore. Not that Breath of the Wild had. I didn't explore all of Breath of the Wild because it's too much. I played what I played. I didn't explore the whole map, but I hope that we get moments like the that maze that you find in the north region of Breath of the Wild, and it's like, oh wow, this is like a special dungeon, or like I hope that it still keeps the mysticism of the world, or like it being nighttime and you seeing like a dragon in the distance. You're like, whoa, there's a dragon. You can go to the dragon. You could get a skill and make items. And oh man, it's the you don't know what you're gonna see until you kind of just go there. And this game shows a lot of that. And yeah, just the creativity with the weapons and the crafting, quote unquote crafting. Uh, they're what they call it, fusing. Uh, it's cool. I love it. And again, it doesn't have to be genre defining, whatever. The last 3 years, the games that have won Game of the Year have not been genre defining. They've just been really good games doing what they do really well. Elden Ring is not genre defining. It Takes Two is not genre defining. Sekiro is not genre defining. These games are not revolutionary. They're just really good games that do what they do really well. And I
Elden
think this
Ring
one,
isn't?
Elden Ring isn't genre defining. It's just a big Dark Souls game. What,
I
what's
I
genre
think
defining of it?
that open world.
Yeah, no,
Zelda
it's an open
Zelda did it
world.
first, son. Zelda did it
Shut
first.
up, man. No, I think that's the thing. When you look at FromSoft, it's not their first time that they make such an intricate world where, oh, you can see things in the distance and you can go there. And I mean, Macho has a point, even though he's capping. There's games that in the past you see something, it's like, oh yeah, you can go there and explore it. If anything, Breath of the Wild has more interactivity than Elden Ring.
It's not
Because in
capping.
Elden
It's,
Ring, it's
it's
like,
it's straight facts. Zelda
I
literally
know,
did that.
but you,
And
I
and
know,
you know
but
what game? You know what game
you
did that
sound like a
before?
clown.
No,
What?
how if I'm sounding like a clown if it's
No,
actually
because
facts?
when you say stuff about Nintendo, you always sound like you're joking, but you're not joking. You buffoon.
No, no, I mean that seriously. It was Breath of the Wild, but you know what game was before Breath of the Wild that also did
What?
that? Skyrim.
What? Yeah. No, you're right. These
Yeah.
games do exist. But I think that genre defining is kind of a like leave that for the first person that did it. He defined a genre. I don't think Elden Ring did anything to like push stuff into a direction. It
I
just
disagree. I
Yeah.
think a lot. I think a lot of developers are gonna look at what Elden Ring did,
oh,
and
they
it's
got
gonna think,
inspired. Yeah. Yeah, but
But
it
that,
didn't
I
do
mean, that's
anything
genre
new.
defining. That's
Yeah,
genre
but
defining.
it didn't do anything new.
Because if Elden Ring didn't do anything new, if it wasn't genre defining, then other developers wouldn't be looking at it for
But it
inspiration.
didn't define a genre. That's what I mean. It did something just
You
better.
redefine
It
a genre.
improved a genre. If anything, it improved upon a genre. But I don't think it defined anything. It just improved upon something that's gonna be better in coming years.
Well, it sounds
That's
it
what I
sounds
think.
it sounds like semantics because improving and
It sounds like
redefining
semantics.
can be
Semantics
just
is the man.
the sort of the same thing, honestly.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
There. Let's. We're not getting into that. Is absurd. Continue. That
Sounds
is absurd. They
so,
cannot be the same thing.
Soul,
This is not a tomato tomato.
Soul, it sounds like he's capping here.
Capping.
Crazy, yeah, it was crazy.
Go back to sleep,
Never,
soul.
never thought I'd see the day, man.
I cap all the time. Shut up.
Anyway, so did you guys what was the whole thing with like the Ultra Hand ability? Is that the one that like rewinds time, or am I getting that mixed up with something?
So the Ultra Hand is the object, or at least with the green arm that Link has, that is able to meld objects together. So that's the Ultra Hand. It's I forgot what is actually called, but he does have that. He does have the ability where he can reverse time, and I even saw like a previous trailer too, where he reversed water in a puddle to actually like form a droplet. So maybe you can use that to actually get water and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. Other than just like normal means of picking up the water, but case in point, yeah, he has that reverse time mechanic that's actually pretty cool too.
Which is based on when I saw it, the name weird, but it is. I think it's based on a toy, on a
Yeah,
Japanese
yeah.
toy,
An
which is
old
like a
Nintendo.
yeah, and it's like a grab. It reminds me, in cartoons when you see people use like a boxing glove with like an extending arm or something. Like it reminds me of that. Uh, but I don't. Does it reverse time? It doesn't just like it does like a little like a rewind
Yeah,
like of the arm. It just does. Okay, interesting.
yeah,
But it's just
that's
the
what he did
arm.
with that's what he did with the rock when it came falling from the sky. He reversed its course so that he was able to go up into the Skylands. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay, that's really creative. That kind of, you know, I haven't played it, but I've seen enough gameplay. It reminds me of how in Lightfall for Destiny, the strand ability, it does function like a grapple where you can, it doesn't reverse, but you can attach yourself to a rocket and go elsewhere. So in this case, you're just playing around with the physics of the game, which I think is genius because the game itself, everything moves and everything breaks when it is breakable and it goes wherever it goes. That's cool. I can't wait to see people just get creative with that and me not do it because I'm not creative.
yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see if like people can create something, and if they mistakenly fall off like into the Skylands or whatever, they didn't want to deep dive. They just can reverse reverse their course and reverse like the vehicle they're on, and to not make that mistake. It's interesting to see what they can do with it. I'm really hyped for it.
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway from this is there was my good old Gene Park, who I really love, like his content and his tweets and stuff like that. He was and this isn't like a knock on him or whatever, but he was like he couldn't think of like another game that did the seamless transition between like a sky island and then all the way back down to the ground, like without like a loading screen or whatever. And I was like, it's Gravity Rush 2, baby, where you could do that.
Yeah, yeah.
You go from the
Hmm.
top, like literally the top of the map, all the way down to like the slums at the bottom of the map, and seamlessly. So
Final Fantasy
yeah.
14 too, man. Yes, sir.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But real quick before we move on from Zelda, I just want to point out that the one thing I'm like makes me really fascinated about Tears of the Kingdom is the theory surrounding its story, because what a lot of people are theorizing at this point is that this is the prequel to Skyward Sword, since at the beginning of that game they tell you this prophecy or this calamity that happened on the ground, and it will force people to actually move up into the Skylands or into the Sky Cities or whatever case may be, and that's where Skyward Sword takes place. And so I'm really interested to see if they kind of follow that trend or like closely hint that there is going to be some sort of civilization after this game's finale. I think that'd be really cool if they kind of do that, because I know Zelda games sort of loosely tie into one another.
Yeah. I mean, I think Breath of the Wild is the first one to do not the Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Wild and Age of Calamity is kind of the first like two games that make that too obvious of tying timelines, which is not really tying timelines. They just go back in the past uh through the little robot that goes back and like you're playing with the champions and whatnot. So they've been playing with time. I mean, there's games that have time in the title, and like everything is always like dimensions and but going back and forth. So that'd be cool. The theory I've heard is that this is like the origins of the evil that affects all of these Zeldas in the past. Because Age of Calamity, Calamity Ganon, kind of feels like an evolved version of what started this, fucking just curse of darkness or whatever. And it feels like in Tears of the Kingdom they just go to like the beginning because they go underground or something, right? In the first trailer that they showed, they show this mummified version of what I assume is Ganon
Yeah, the
or
very
Calamity
first
Ganon.
trailer, yeah, that they had Zelda and Link going underground, and you notice Zelda, or at least Link, doesn't have his arm, so you could assume that's where he
Yeah,
gets it.
and that is so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
If this is like the beginning of it, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very very nice.
Um,
You should buy a Switch and
yeah,
play the game.
I'm very, very curious to see like how people feel about story specifically. Cause like I do remember that original trailer and like it looked a lot darker, like it gave me Twilight Princess vibes almost.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, man, I'm gonna be very curious to see like what people think about the story. And if it does have any connections to like previous games or whatnot. Um,
Do you think it'll get
but
Game of the Year?
probably.
Mm, okay.
Great talk. Uh,
I
uh,
sometimes you have like wiles. I'm like, hell no, man. I just vibe you out to see where you stand on it.
It's a lot of games up for Game
uh,
of the Year this year.
oh yeah, for sure. But
Yeah,
yeah, man, that's gonna do it for The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
yeah,
Let's move on to I guess we can kind of knock out BAFTA really quickly.
Yeah,
So let me
which was
see.
a great show. I actually ended up watching the entire thing when I was at work the other day, and I really loved it. I told you before, I love the two co-hosts, or the host stream hosts, whatever they're called.
Man, there was so like I'm pretty sure I've said this in the past, but BAFTA their game awards have always been like my favorite out of like DICE and GDC and the VGAs. BAFTA has always been my favorite. In 2019, I think, when God of War was up for like all of its awards and Spider-Man as well, there was this like Irish bald dude and he was like the host. He was so damn funny, dude. Like he was so good as a host. Like Macho, you should watch that award show specific like just for him. Like his opening monologue and then just him like hosting throughout the show. Like
Which one?
he was awesome. The BAFTA 2019 awards. So yeah, that would be the one with when God of War came out and Spider-Man.
Got you.
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, he was fantastic. It's like, yes, like all the hosts who have come after him have been like really great as well. But like just his energy and his humor, there's something missing with him not being there anymore. But regardless, yeah, I agree. BAFTA this year was just absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it as well.
yeah.
Um,
And I can see
and
how you have mentioned a disappointment with the Game Awards of a certain game not being featured in, but I can see you. We'll get into it. There's a certain game that got a prize that you actually really vibed with.
yeah, man, I was happy to. I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But and also like I think I've said this in the past too, but also like BAFTA is not afraid to like go left when it feels like all the other award shows go right, and we'll talk
Hmm.
about that with the best game who won that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in terms of awards, scrolling all
Yeah.
the way down. Okay, so animation, which was the first award of the night, went to God of War Ragnarok. Um, narrative went to Immortality, which I don't know if did any of you guys play Immortality?
No, but I
I
am
mean,
interested in it for sure.
yeah, I
Yeah,
keep
me
hearing
too, man.
beautiful things of it.
Yeah, so like I watched they also had like a few panels going on like over the course of like the week of BAFTA, and there was a like the people who were up for like former in a leading role, so like Chris Judge, Charlotte McBurney, and Manon Gage were like up there on this panel. And like just hearing her like talk about that experience as well, like made me like I don't think I can play it because I think it's like on like tablets and like phones and stuff like that, and it's like I don't want to play it on that.
Yeah, it's
Um,
on PC and Xbox consoles, it's not PlayStation or Switch.
right. So I'm just gonna look up the cutscene to just like experience it like through that. But yeah, to what Masha was saying, I really want to check it out. Like it's made me more interested in it for sure. Um, yeah, that was narrative. Game Beyond Entertainment was a game called Endling. Extinction is Forever. Never heard of it, but congrats.
Is that the one where you play as a fox?
Yeah,
Yes.
I have no idea.
Okay. I
Yeah.
remember that being announced and being super sad because you have to take care of like your kids or something, or like your children. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
It's
what it
sad.
looks like on the box art.
Mm.
Um, but this one was interesting. Performer in a supporting role. So once again, just like looking at the nominees, you had Adam J. Harrington from God of War Ragnarok who played Sindri. Charlotta Molin from Immortality, who she plays the One, I think. Ryan Hurst, of course, plays Thor in God of War. Allison J, who plays Alva from Horizon Forbidden West. Danielle Bisutti, who plays Freya from God of War. Then you had Leia de Leon Hayes, who plays Angrboda from God of War, who ultimately won the award. But like, I like listen, like I loved Angrboda, and I think Macho may disagree with me because I think you liked her a lot more than I did. But like, man, dude, I felt like that was Freya's award to win, man, and I was shocked that she didn't get this award. How do you guys feel about it?
I agree with your tweet when I saw it. I mean, I've been meaning for her to just get something because I feel like this doesn't feel genuine. This feels too left. You mentioned how they don't mind straying.
Yeah,
I don't know if this is just because it's like a very new character in the franchise or something, but I don't. She was also like if we're gonna compare screen time, she was barely in the game compared to Freya.
yeah,
Freya's literally a companion, and there's like performances within the actual like dialogue in the like throughout gameplay. I
yeah.
I don't agree with the choice. What about you, Macho? Do you disagree?
Yeah, I do. I really liked Angerboda in the game. It was because she just stuck out so much to me. As just like a kindred spirit and someone that also was harboring some sort of mystery and trying to stay the course, but also trying to wrestle with the fact of what happens if she does break from her destiny and stuff like that. I thought she did such a great job, and again, she just stood out to me so much that whenever she
More
was
than
on screen,
Freya?
I was happy with whenever she was doing something.
Even more than Freya?
I mean, Freya was awesome too. Like it's to say, it's hard to like really like say like what's better, what's you know, or not. But
Yeah, it's
like
subjective. What do you think it's better?
Angerboda, I like Angerboda more.
Okay.
That's why I was happy she won, and the fact she's a young actress too, and she kind of just came into like our video game world and just really knocked it out of the park and wins an award for it. I think is really cool. But and it's sad that Danielle Bashu didn't win anything, but I think she gets more satisfaction from her interacting with her fans and being in her world rather than just getting awarded. So
But also like she can say she is a BAFTA nominated like actress, and
hell yeah,
that's still something.
hell
And
yeah,
like seeing Leia go up there and like her speech and her whole reaction like kind of made up for my disappointment, I guess. Also, see, I don't know if you guys saw, but like the camera went to Chris Judge for like a second while she was up there talking, and like you could literally see him crying. Like I don't know, man, it was like a really wholesome and like good moment. Also, seeing Sunny's reaction was like really wholesome as well to like
yeah.
her hold up.
Yeah, they're a
So
family, man.
yeah, it was overall like a really great moment, but still, like I was like, I don't use this word often, but I was flabbergasted when I saw
Oh man.
what she won.
Wow,
Um,
wow. He just
but
what kind of vocab you using there, buddy?
um, yeah, man. So that was performer in a supporting role. Performer in a leading role, of course, Christopher Judge for God of War Ragnarok, and of course, man, had a just fantastic speech. Um, I
Did it last 11 minutes too?
no man. I think it was like 5 minutes
Yeah,
maybe.
it's around
Like,
5 minutes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
but
You learned.
again, just like his dice speech, I think. Um, just again, like his speeches are so good, man. Like I don't care if they're long. There's just
Yeah.
always like something in there that's gonna make you laugh or is gonna be like really
Or cry.
insightful. Maybe tear up a little bit. Yeah, because there was one part there that when he was talking about his mom that was like, damn, dude, like that got me a little bit.
Whenever he
Uh,
talks about his family, is always like heartbreaking. It's like when he. I always remember the clip where he says, you know, that the performances and what he does is for his daughter, and for his kids, and how he'll start tearing up. And when I see Christopher Judge tear up, I tear up. Like when you see a man of that caliber tear up with that voice, you're like, damn man, you're making me cry just by sounding like that. The fuck? Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Beautiful stuff.
yeah, so it was yeah, awesome seeing him up there.
Caesar.
What the hell? And then next up we have debut game that went to Tunic, um,
Yeah.
over Vampire Survivors, which was interesting.
Oh
Uh,
wow, it is interesting
Yeah.
actually. Wow.
I mean,
so here's
I
oh, what
think
were
I
you
think
gonna say?
that's kind of it. Kind of levels up. It levels out
Well, the
because of
interesting
what
thing
Vampire
is
Survivors
that
were.
like both Elden Ring and Vampire Survivors only won 2 awards each.
Yeah,
Or
because they
I
play more games.
think Vampire Survivors in total won 3, including best game. I think. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it's 2 or 3. Um, Original property went to Elden Ring over games like Vampire Survivors, Cult of the Lamb, and Sifu and Stray.
Yeah.
Um, Technical achievement. I know me and Mato were very happy to see that Horizon Forbidden West got this award.
Right
Yeah. Same.
after they just put their blog post about the cloud technology and Forbidden West Burning Shore
Yeah,
DLC. So, kudos.
yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, awesome seeing Gorilla up there to accept that. The EE Game of the Year, which was like their fan voted category or award, that went to God of War Ragnarok. Um, the other games in that category was Horizon, Elden Ring, Marvel Snap, Immortality, and Stray.
Yeah. I
Um,
remember Chris just saying in the
Those
interview afterwards that that was probably the most important award to win for them
yeah,
because that was like the fans were like approval. So that was really cool too.
yeah.
yeah.
Um, for music, I went to God of War Ragnarok over games like Cuphead, A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, and Stray, which Stray was kind of like the weird one in there because I don't remember any of the music in that game.
It's subtle. It's subtle.
um, Macho, this one's for you. Evolving
Yes,
game went to Final
sir.
Fantasy
Yes,
14.
yes, sir. This pretty clean MMO RPG Final Fantasy 14 with a free trial
All right.
and
All right.
expansion
Over
up to
which ones?
now. You can get a free. You can now you get Stormblood for free. So go and download it. It's really good. All right, I'm done. Sorry.
What did it win
Uh,
over?
Dreams, Forza Horizon 5, Elder Scrolls Online, Apex Legends, and No Man's Sky, which was I don't know
Interesting.
if you noticed this much when you're watching this, but during this category when they were like naming the nominees, when they said Apex Legends, I'm not kidding when I tell you I heard no one cheering for that game, which was so weird.
Yeah, it was really funny to hear the games that got cheers and the ones that didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Different
that,
audience, man.
yeah.
Also, like the UK really, or I guess BAFTA, they really love Media Molecule. Like, whenever like their name gets mentioned or whatever, like like people get loud for them. Like I remember Shuhei mentioned Media Molecule, and there was like cheers in the crowd like for when he mentioned that.
It's so weird.
Um,
It's like your favorite cousin is the one that's not paying you rent.
oh
It's
man.
crazy.
Um, now listen. All these other awards were cute. You know, it was cute seeing Chris Judge get up there and win an award, and Leia Dion Hayes and Horizon getting an award for technical achievement, and all that stuff was cool and
Man, here
whatnot.
it goes. I know where you're
But
going.
the real award of the night was British Game of the
I knew
Year
it.
that went to goddamn Roller Drum, man. Are you kidding me? This is
Death
the one.
flag.
This is the one that shocked me, man. Especially because Vampire Survivors was in here. Citizen Sleeper as well, which is also like a really good game from what I hear. But for Roller to win, come on, man, that was really that was the award that made my night, man. Like, what a fantastic game that's like barely gotten recognition in terms of like awards, and I don't know,
Yeah. When you
I
saw
just thought it
that,
was cool.
when you saw that award because the British game, you just stood and you said, "Pip pip, hooray! Pip pip, hooray!"
I think it's on sale right now too. So for people that are interested, go and buy it. It's very good.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really, really cool to see. And then like to the speech as well, like the team getting up there and being like, we didn't expect this. We thought Vampire Survivors would win this award. And then the guy who was like giving the speech, like actually like breaking down and crying as well. Like it just really, really wholesome moment as well.
Yeah.
So after British Award, we have game design that went to Vampire Survivors. Um, over games like Elden Ring, Horizon, God of War, Tunic, and Cult of the Lamb.
Interesting.
Artistic achievement went to Tunic over Pentiment, A Plague Tale Requiem, Immortality, Elden Ring, and God of War. Uh,
Interesting.
what do you think should have won that one?
Pentiment.
I I haven't played Pentiment, but from what I've seen, I've played Tunic. I think the way that Tunic handles like the manuals and the language and the world and the kind of just how satisfying it is and the artistic, yeah, the artistic choices in it. I think it's a good like they did well with awarding Tunic. I think Pentiment would also be a good choice. And this kind of thing with you macho earlier with like, you know, it's kind of hard with Angerboda and Freya for me in this one. It's like, yeah, Tunic or honestly, Pentiment would have been a good choice.
Is
But I think
there
Tunic is a good choice.
is there a game that you would have liked to have seen in artistic achievement?
Honestly, I
Um,
think Cult of the Lamb.
hold
Okay.
on. Yeah, yeah. Cult of the Lamb. That would have been a shoe in too.
You don't think Xenoblade should have been in here?
Ooh,
Not for what was it for? For art design.
artistic achievement.
Yeah, artistic achievement.
That jump looked like ass on the Switch. Absolutely not. No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. No, I think it.
anime waifus.
I think it looks good, but like I not for artistic achievement probably. No.
Yeah, that game just has Tiggle biddies. That's it.
Oh my
Jeez.
gosh.
Um, audio achievement went to God of War Ragnarok.
Of course.
Uh, family and social game. This one's for Walt. This one went to Kirby and the Forgotten
Amen,
Land.
brother.
The
Love to see
default.
it. Love to see it.
The
Default
def.
Nintendo,
The
baby.
default.
Um, and also probably like the moment of the night, man. The Fellowship Award went to Shuhei Yoshida, man.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Hell yeah.
I feel like I knew Shuhei was like really, really loved and respected in the industry, but man, like I feel like I never really got as much of a sense of that as I did watching that award show and like people giving him like a standing ovation, um, the video that they put together, and then just like going on Twitter and just seeing like the waves of people across the industry just like, sending him a congratulations and like, you know, saying all these things about him and what he's meant for the industry, what he's done for indie developers. There was like some PlayStation developers saying that they were like getting teary eyed, like seeing him getting up there and making his speech and whatnot. And like, I don't know, man, it was like a really, really cool moment seeing that. Did you guys get a chance to see that segment?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, I did. I saw again. I saw the entire show and even like the interview afterwards, and I'm glad we could touch on this because Shoei Yoshida is absolutely an icon. Because I mean, I've known about Shu and like his influence since the podcast Beyond days with Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty way back when. So I learned of his presence through their podcast, and then when I started listening to the PlayStation blogcasts through their blog posts online, I got like a better sense of like how much he really loves video games when he started talking about Journey. So him talking about that game and then listening to one track at the end of that podcast made me want to go play the game, and I absolutely love it. He even brought up on the interviews afterwards, so where I think the hosts were asking like what like his top favorite game or where the case may be, and he brought up Journey again because of like what it meant and the sort of the message behind it and the cool interaction with it. So yeah, this is he loves his games. It's been an icon in his industry, and he deserves the award through and through. I'm glad that we were able to celebrate him and his accomplishments that night because, like you said, everybody from the gaming industry were just highlighting him. Even Phil Spencer tweeted at him saying congratulations, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So really cool stuff.
Yeah, really, really great moment. Yeah, and then a really, really cool kind of like the way that he like opened his speech was like him saying like he's always felt like he's been like one of the luckiest people in the industry because like when he got the producer role at PlayStation at like in like 95 or whatever, the first two projects that he was given was goddamn Crash Bandicoot and Gran Turismo, and it's like that's a crazy like. Can you imagine that? Like your first two projects ever in the gaming industry is like two iconic franchises like that. Like that's pretty nuts. So yeah, that was really cool. I loved his speech. Um, but yeah, so that was the Fellowship Award. Um, and then we have multiplayer. That went to Elden Ring, which was
What were the other contenders though?
Call of Duty, Splatoon 3, TMNT Shredder's Revenge, Overwatch 2, and FIFA.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's weird that FIFA didn't win. That's huge in Europe. That's huge.
It's weirder that Elden Ring won, considering the hiccups that there were at launch.
It's funny. It's funny to me that so Elden Ring won 2 awards, and one of them was for multiplayer. So
Crazy.
that's funny.
If anything, it should have like, if the expansion that's coming out right now that's dedicated to PvP, that would have made more sense if it had that. But I mean, the Macho and I have played the multiplayer and it's fun. I don't know if it's like a award worthy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then of course, best game went to Vampire Survivors over Stray, Marvel Snap, Elden Ring, God of War, and Cult of the Lamb. Which I mean, the way people talk about this game, it's like okay, yeah, fair.
It's fantastic. I've played it. I am addicted. I haven't played in a couple weeks, but I played so much that I got to the point where the game was breaking the fourth wall with like Easter eggs. It is a very good game, a very addicting game, dangerously addictive. So yeah, it's cool. Music's great and everything.
Oh yeah. So yeah, really, and again, really, it felt like a really what's the saying? Out of left field, yeah.
Yeah.
Out of left field kind of.
What are you, 40? Jesus Christ.
Hey man. Kind of.
Well, how you say the word? Shut up.
Yeah, but nonetheless, it was. It's the same how I felt with like God of War winning at the VGAs in 2018. It's like everyone expected Red Dead, but they went God of War instead, and it was kind of a little bit like that with this. Also, I guess It Takes Two winning VGAs or goddamn Untitled Goose Game winning at Dice in 2020. Like,
That's crazy.
like yeah, like I don't know, man. It's cool seeing the games that you don't expect.
Or when Sekiro won, when people thought Resident Evil 2 remake would win. At least that's how I saw it that year. That's crazy. I love it when it's left field like that, and not Last of Us year.
I was so happy It Takes Two won. That's such a great win. What an amazing game.
Yeah. You co-op fanatic.
Yeah, we should definitely play.
We should.
All right, let's stop beating around the bush. Let's talk about the main thing that happened.
Yes.
This past week, that is E3. E3 is
dead.
Dead, boy.
In my solitude. Kill it with fire.
I feel like this was inevitable. That this was a long time coming.
Yeah.
Of course, they dragged it so long. There've been so many hiccups the last 4 years, and now they're like, we're not doing it. Oh yeah, we should have started when we had like a direct for every company. Like Ubisoft has a direct. What is going on? Stop,
our boys Greg Miller and Jeff Keighley were kicking that cold body all week, dog.
Dragon.
Wow.
they were putting their arms around their jacket trying to mimic this dead body, like, oh, I'm still alive.
Yeah. They're like the little sisters on in BioShock when Atlas was already down. They're like, kill him, kill him. They're just like that. That was wild, man. So break it down for so sorry. I keep interrupting. Sorry.
No, I mean, there's not really much to break down. It was just like
It's
it
good.
felt like a domino effect where we had earlier Microsoft confirmed that they weren't going, and then this past week we had Ubisoft saying that they weren't going. They were going to do their own thing with the Ubisoft Forward.
That's
And
wild, dude. They already signed the RSVP. They were like, yeah, we're gonna be there, and then they called her. Was like, never mind. Like,
I forget
grandma's
someone
sick.
someone made the analogy of like Ubisoft being like the games industry like whore, where like they get passed around. They'll do anything, man. Like they put games they put an Assassin's Creed game on the PSP, on the Vita. They supported the Wii U. They supported Stadia. They're willing to do anything, and even they're not showing up to your thing. It's like, god damn, dude.
Good morning, level 1 gaming. By the way, thanks for joining the stream.
Morning.
But then yeah, so after Ubisoft, then we had Sega and Tencent closely follow behind, and yeah,
Wild.
so that leaves like in terms of like major third parties, I guess like Konami would have been like the only ones there, and that's a weird thing, right?
I feel bad for Flame, man. That man bought his plane tickets, his hotel, ready for E3. Y'all, I'm sorry, bro. See if you get that refund. Go to LA. Go to In-N-Out at least.
No, he's gonna have to go to a Super Mario World instead, man.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah,
Ooh.
that's a good option actually.
When they said that the big three were not going, that immediately said, all right, this is already signifying not very good things.
Yeah.
Well, I saw this Chris Dring at gamesindustry.biz. He wrote like an opinion piece on this whole thing, and he brought up this point that it was companies like Sega, PlayStation, Nintendo, and EA that started E3 back in 1995, and it's gonna be up to those companies to bring it back. Um,
Okay, so the
so
ones that have their own dedicated now directs throughout the year.
exactly, which is why it's never
Great.
gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But as soon as PlayStation said we're not doing experience anymore, oh, something's going on. Then they said directs, or rather a state of plays, and they do like 4 a year. Bro. Again, this is like the physical versus digital argument. Like, why even have a conference when and I'm not talking about media. Like media, yeah, a lot of people are affected because now they have like all those hotels. You know how many refunds they're gonna be requesting? It's gonna be a busy few months for hospitality. But I think that I mean it just doesn't. It's not cost efficient anymore. I don't think it makes sense. It doesn't make sense anymore. It's sad. I don't know if that's sad or not, but why would you do it when you can just like universally, internationally have a dedicated conference or whatever you want. Now we only have Summer Games Fest, and that's not even like fully in person. We'll see, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Jeff Keighley to also pump the brakes a little bit, promoting Summer Games Fest like it's the
Nah,
hottest thing in the.
Let that man, let him cook.
Yeah, let him
Let
cook.
him
Come- I know he's
Let
right.
that man cook.
I know he's riding high from the Game Awards, it being
Yeah.
the best one yet.
Jeff Keighley
but-
is the Mr. Beast of gaming. That man is gonna go. I'm gonna have all the conferences now.
Ah,
I
man.
run this show. Let that man cook,
I,
man.
I just don't
Let-
I just don't see those big three having any like big announcements at Summer Games Fest when they could rightly do their own thing. It's different when it's at the Game Awards because you're literally having the last word, the last mind share of like what's the best thing that was shown at the Game Awards, blah blah blah. But like when it comes to the middle of the year, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox probably don't give a rat's ass. I'm
Yeah,
gonna give it
but
right now.
I don't think people tune into Summer Games Fest to be like, oh, what's the next Nintendo? No, like.
Oh
we're,
come on,
like,
they definitely are. They definitely
Bro,
are. The way he hypes
Summer
up the way
Games
things
Fest-
are.
No, yeah, but let that man again. Let him cook. Whatever is announced in Summer Games Fest, I've never treated it as like a single company is gonna blow me away. It's just like it's a festival for all games, and like I'm most excited for the indies. At least that's me. And we've agreed that indies are kind of like what's like pushing innovation and creativity in video games. So I feel like just let the chef do his thing.
Okay.
let
Okay.
let Game Awards and Summer Games Fest. That's all we need. We don't need no E3. Do you want E3, Macho? Were you gonna go?
I wanted to. I mean every like aspiring gaming journalist back in the mid 2000s, a little
Yeah,
later,
well, it's
always
2023.
always aspired to go to E3. Like that was the big goal, right? To go there, cover games, but like and the reality of it all was that you're obviously going to be working more than playing games, and when you're going to be playing games, it's going to be hours of being in line for like one or two specific games throughout the day. So I think just the novelty of going to E3 is always like a fantasy and really cool because you get to talk to developers and publishers and what the next big game is. But like I think there's nothing more exciting than actually being with people in those situations. Like I can
Absolutely.
tell you just from going to PAX East of it was 2020. It was PAX 20 right before the pandemic that really struck United States, and I just had a ball, man, with being in the Final Fantasy community and being hyped for Seven Remake and being in those lines playing that game and talking with the developers and Square Enix employees about the game, stuff like that. All that was like really really cool. So the fact that E3 kind of was like the kickstart to all that and really just like the
Yeah,
the core of that, and
absolutely.
it's virtually gone at this point. It's sad,
But you
but
do have
it's
you do
like
have
it's a weird evolution. I'll say.
while they're not replacements, you do have things like PAX, FanFest,
Yeah,
conventions. You
Gamescom.
still have those things, Gamescom. You still have those things that you can go to and kind of cherish and feel the vibes and the energy in the air and like-minded people. uh I just think also like there's evolutions. There's gonna be different types of avenues now that are hopefully better than what E3 was ending up to me. Like, yeah, it just became tradition. It got to the point where it just became a tradition where it didn't really it wasn't happening because of what it was, but because of what it did for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I think COVID just the pandemic really kind of changed the course for a lot of things. And I think companies see that and they're like, no, yeah, we're not gonna. Why, why spend their money and and all these like to another location when they can just focus on digital marketing? And I think that's right now, social media and digital marketing are kind of the new way to promote your games. And investors, they don't want to leave the comfort of their home. Why would they go to a conference? Just send a couple emails, rub some elbows here and there digitally, and you're good. You're good. You don't have to go to a conference anymore. I feel bad for the people that got that email. Hey, I know that you were gonna
Yeah.
go, your RSVP was there, but sadly been canceled. And I feel bad for all the journalists that are kind of canceling plans, making changes because they were pumped for it. But this just means, hey, put and double down on that digital space and network like you much like you when you put your mind to it. You were a journalist, and everyone here has like semi-journalist experiences. You're at a point where you could network and get people, get codes, and so it's possible even if you're not like on the floor with people.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think
different.
that's a good point because I mean I felt like I had a little bit of identity crisis when I was with Lords of Gaming because my entire point was like, oh, to go to E3 and cover those big things and be the gaming journalist I wanted to be, kind of thing, right? And then it wasn't until I voiced that like through a tweet, obviously, it's like I don't really feel like I'm part of it. Like it's kind of like weird. I've had this weird identity crisis, and it literally took like one or two people to be like, dude, you are part of the gaming industry. You did your thing. You went to PAX. You talked to developers. You got your codes. You reviewed your games. All that stuff. And I was like, you know what? You guys are right. I feel satisfied. So that's why it's a little bit of a pain stink that E3 is like kind of like it's virtually no more at this point. But at the same time, I'm satisfied with what I've done, and I think other people can say the same. So
And this is not the end because again, there can be no conferences, even no digital conferences. And if you're motivated online, you can get places just from the comfort of your own computer. You just have to
100%.
be
Yep.
you have to know where to look and you have to know who to talk to. But that's something that comes with experience.
Yeah.
So I think that now that identity crisis, everyone's kind of like a self-starter right now, like a self, like self-marketing type deal.
It could literally start
But yeah,
from
man,
anything, like literally from anything,
100%.
like I think it was a former GameSpot writer, and now he's at Fanbyte. Michael, I forgot his last name. He's a big Final Fantasy 14 dude. Talked to him a couple times. There's another guy that worked. I think his name. I think he was an Inverse, but he did like the Resident Evil pieces. He reached out to me of all people because I just said how much I love Resident Evil. He was like, "Hey, do you want like to be like a quote in my article or whatever?" Like, so it's literally anything. So just that's kind of like the beauty of Twitter. It's like people are real people, and you can
Yeah,
actually
and
converse
LinkedIn.
with them. Yeah, that too.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, so that's kind of the beauty of it. So in that sense, it made going to E3 a little less important because I didn't need to
Exactly.
pay $1,000 to go to LA to meet these people. I could literally just talk to them via Twitter or whatever. So
If E3 happened and people went to it, it would be the equivalent of going to GameStop when you know you could have downloaded it at home. Like,
yeah,
it's a preference at this point, you know?
yeah.
Uh,
What do you think so though? Of your
yeah,
experience
so tell
riding
us.
and I don't know if you've been to conventions, but like all that kind of stuff. Were you this kind of dash your hopes of going to a eventual E3 or anything like that?
Um, I don't think I ever really wanted to go to E3. Um, especially since like after maybe like 20. I mean, especially not now since PlayStation wasn't there for like a few years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm much more interested in going to GDC than E3 to be
Mm,
honest, especially since the way that E3 was like turning into, it was becoming more like fan oriented. Um, GDC still seems like the place for like more business, more networking. So like, I eventually would like to go to GDC. But GDC is very expensive, so who knows?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I ever really wanted to go to E3 in like recent years, to be honest. But I feel like there's definitely like pros and cons to having E3 versus just the several digital events that we're gonna get now. I know Greg Miller was kind of like talking about it for him, and like his company, whereas I think he said specifically something along the lines of like it was always weird to have like um I think recently where it was like okay, so like they would have E3 I think last year like on this specific day, and then so like they go to LA to cover E3 and whatnot, but then it's like there's a digital event like literally the next day, or like Summer Games Fest. So it's like, okay, but now they need to have people back in the office to live react to all that stuff and cover that whole event and whatnot. So it was just like for them, it was always like a mess, and like
Yeah.
almost like, uh, yeah, it was just like really really difficult to deal with. Um, but then also he was talking about how like back in the day covering E3, like they literally had to crunch for that stuff. Like they were up until like 3 a.m. like covering you know, like literally everything that would come out of E3. So it's like for him, it was like a bit of a mixed bag where like, of course, there was a ton of great memories, but like there was also a lot of cons to covering that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's a mixed bag for me as well. Like, of course, I'm gonna miss like the hype of it all, like having the back to back to back events for like those like 3 or 4 days. Um, but at the same time, I don't know, man. I'm also kind of okay with like having just like a more spread out kind of like okay, we have a state of play here in February, a Nintendo Direct here in March, uh Summer Games Fest during the summer, and then everyone else's sort of digital events in that summer time frame, and then Sony and Nintendo also do scattered directs and state of plays later in the year as well. So it's like I don't know. I kind of like that approach as well because it feels like it's not everything is bunched up during the summer period. Um. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my 2 cents, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree actually.
It's
I
not
agree
doom
with
and
that.
gloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a doom and gloom situation. I think it's just the natural evolution of things. And honestly, with the, I don't want to sound like an old man, but with the state of tech and how everything is kind of evolving to be kind of just remote and digital, this is just kind of expected. So I'm not surprised. It's kind of bittersweet because then you think about those great moments that have happened and great core memories and cringe moments from E3 that happened, and it's like, oh, we're not gonna get those anymore. But we'll get new ones. We'll get new memories. Splendid
Yeah, I'm
moments.
gonna miss those cringe moments from E3. There's quite a lot of them, and they're all
Just
hilarious.
look for MegaCon, man. Look for Anime Expo cringe. Like conventions are still happening, and the cringe will continue on.
Oh yeah, I'm
Like
waiting.
Minecraft
I'm
Con.
waiting for your video to pop up eventually.
Absolutely, man. You're gonna see me with that VR, like that video you sent me.
Exactly that VR. That was wild. That man loved his plastic. That
The
was
man
crazy.
said,
Yeah.
"Damn, virtual women."
He's like virtual
Oh.
woman.
Um, but yeah, man. I mean, I I think like all of us, we all have like really great memories of like past E3 shows. Like obviously, like I'll never forget Sony's E3 2015, and then they somehow followed that up, in my opinion, with like an even better show in 2016. Like I will never forget like watching those two shows live, you know.
Yeah, man,
But, like
absolutely.
yeah, and then I think the big difference is, and it like Sony's 2020 future gaming event where like they revealed the PS5, like that was a fantastic show as well. But I think the big difference is like the crowd, right? Like having that crowd react to God of War for the first time, or seeing Death Stranding for the first time, or at PSX reacting to The Last of Us Part Two, just like how silent the crowd was. Like when like they immediately see the Firefly logo, the crowd like explodes, it goes crazy. And then when it immediately goes into shows like a little bit of like Ellie's face and just like the entire crowd just dropping like dead silent, like those moments like will be missed. But in terms of like content, I still think we're gonna get shows that could possibly like reach those levels or be close to as good as those shows that we all love and remember.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like getting the, even if it's not physical, uh, if it's a virtual event now, just getting in a party chat with the guys from Puerto Rico, or like everyone just messing around, talking and playing games while we watch, with the beauty of it picture in picture. Now I can play and watch these events. So, but yeah, I agree that there's moments that I don't think will be replicated because they're just a one and done reaction and moment. Uh, I guess now you could substitute the, seeing the crowds react with just seeing reactions, because I know, so I think I've seen where, or we've talked about like watching reactions on YouTube, and like people like the normies and your boy Roshi, like now you get to see different types of people react to certain things because you kind of want to replicate. I mean, I still revisit the Endgame and Infinity War theater reactions on YouTube, because those are just unmatched. So like I think that's the biggest thing that's kind of being lost, which is the community reactive energy. But you
100%.
can seek that elsewhere. You can seek that in other venues, I guess, just not in one single spot. Oh, we'll go to the video game awards, boys. That's where we're gonna experience that.
Well, it's fun just reacting with you guys too on that. But man, E3, I'll never forget the audience reaction to Ezio's double hidden blade when that was popped
With
out.
Brotherhood, was it?
No, it was for Assassin's Creed 2.
It was for two.
It was for the Assassin's Creed 2 reveal. Ezio, I believe he was scaling like a pillar that's on top of a building for an assassin job, obviously. And the guard that was there, he jumped on top of them, and oh god, what was it? I think it was two guards, and then he jumped on top both of them. That's when they revealed that there was a double hidden blade, and everyone was like, ah, because obviously coming from Assassin's Creed 1 was so hype. But I want to
Yeah,
say,
and wholesome moments, man, like Keanu Reeves and shit.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I want to say E3 2013 as well was super hype for Square Enix fans. When Kingdom Hearts 3 was revealed, as well as Final Fantasy 15, that was turned from
Yeah, that
Versus
was
13.
a great show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that trailer itself, when you saw Versus 13 and it exploded and it went 15, it was
Also, that gameplay is like
so different.
Yeah.
It's, I know it was going out the backs of the gameplay of Versus 13 where it was a whole different ball game. But
Where's that game, man?
I know, I know, I know.
I remember this sequence where like Noctis was like he like jumped inside like this building with like I think like red tiles or like
Yep, yeah.
yeah, that sequence like I was like, damn dude, that looks so good.
I know it was so hype when you just saw him, and then the water kind of just flew in and took out the guards, yeah, man, oh my god, what a trailer that was.
Seeing,
Um
say what you say about the game, but just seeing Ikumi Nakamura and her talk about like Ghostwire and just say what you say about the game, but the enthusiasm and the amount of energy that she demonstrated in the stage, you're just like you can't help it but get excited for what's to come, even if it's disappointment. But it's so exciting to see developers just give their all up there. Seeing Reggie be announced, I mean, not that he's a game, I didn't see this live, but the E3 where he's like, oh, yeah, now it's me. I'm the new guy, and the unbridled just enthusiasm and because that's the thing. It's not just announcements of games. It's the people that are so passionate up there and the cringy moments and Miyamoto showing up with the Zelda sword and the Hyrule Shield from the back and making people cry and it's so many good moments just that are not scripted and are just like the reaction of this one particular person. It's like so attached to my memory. So it's really nice, man. Really, really cool. There's a nice history of E3, both good and bad, and very bad jokes. Very, very, very bad jokes from developers that were 50 plus years old. Good moments. So good, man.
um but yeah, man. Lots of great memories.
R.I.P.
RIP. RIP indeed. We will miss you. For
It's
sure.
it's raining, so
Yeah.
it's raining.
I don't think it's ever coming back, boys. I think I gotta accept that.
Oh, Greg Miller and Jeff Keighley are making sure of that. That's for damn sure.
But give it a few
Um
years, and there's gonna be something different. There's gonna be a new thing. There's gonna
well, I
and
mean
there's
we
gonna
already
be
have that. Summer Game Fest.
no, there's gonna be like a new there's gonna be an attempt to making something new. It's gonna fall flat. Maybe it's gonna take off. We'll see. Because there's always you always got geniuses and people that are visionaries, and they need to shut up. We'll see, man. Jeff
Um
Keighley, give me money.
but yeah, so that's gonna do it for E3. Our last topic is The Last of Us on PC. It has mostly negative reviews on Steam. Um, cause yeah, it's been launched in a very rough state. I don't know what all the issues are. I've just kind of been seeing like little anecdotes here and there. So if you guys are like more knowledgeable on this, then feel free and go ahead and talk about it. What's going on?
What's going
Got
on,
you.
Macho? Tell us. Tell the people what's going on.
Yeah, because you don't know, fraud.
I don't know.
I mean, well, it's basically what's still said that it's a disastrous launch. It's probably one of the worst PlayStation PC. It is the worst PlayStation PC port launch since Horizon Zero Dawn, which is funny enough. I think they thought it was their first venture into PC porting. This is worse. This is absolutely worse, and it's kind of crazy because we've always talked about like the idea of like publishers and developers treating their games with like the utmost amount of respect because of the love and dedication that gets poured into them. So it's kind of crazy that we see. Well, I mean, I've seen it like on a timeline where Naughty Dog developers were like so proud of like the launch for this game, and it ends up being this disastrous. Like, what happened? What happened
I
with
mean,
this?
that's the
With it?
consensus because I've seen comparison videos, and there's more good than there is bad. Like I think that the bad moments are just like you're gonna get a lot of vert and like unoptimized moments unless you have like I don't know what's the difference between having like a 2080 right now versus having your 3090. I don't know if you have to have like the biggest what's the do we know the specs, the recommended specs for part 1?
Yeah. They released it. They have a whole graphic up for that. That was like a couple of weeks before release. But even then, that was spooky too. And we we can kind of see the alignment now where like if a game that's releasing on PC, if a big AAA game that's releasing on PC has quote unquote spooky PC requirements, then it's probably going to be a rough launch. And yeah, so I mean, for Last of Us Part 1, it's sitting at a 56 on Metacritic right now for PC,
Okay.
which is like horrible. I mean, it was down before, but now it's getting a little bit more positive reviews after like the the reviews from after the patches, rather. That's what I want to say. After the patches for that they're releasing all the hot fixes for, like, Naughty Dog's been nothing but updating people on hot fixes, but they also been promoting the game at the same time, which is like, dude, it's not the time. You gotta fix this before you can even promote it to people. But regardless, yeah, it's starting to flip a little bit on Steam reviews as well. It went from like bad, like horrible reviews on Steam to now it's in the yellow. Now it's mixed. So same thing with Metacritic. But it's just crazy to me that this game passed any sort of Q&A and uh, any sort of quality test. It seemed like they wasn't there even after delay. Right? They released a message a couple weeks into like the actual show itself where they're saying we're going to delay the game because we want the game the utmost of quality that the fans deserve, blah blah blah, and then release it broken. It felt like it was like the worst time to do that, especially when your show just finished. People are really hyped for it. I had a coworker that was super hyped for the game after watching the show, and I can guarantee you she probably didn't even pick it up because she saw the reviews like, oh, it's not working, so I'm not even gonna bother. But thankfully they're releasing all the hot fixes soon and everything. But of course, the internet's gonna be the internet. Memes galore. I've seen all the crazy, bug-filled videos. We have our own Craig now. His name is Craig Miller, but still pointed out it was probably just someone putting the Steam Deck in the lowest settings and having Joel's eyebrows. He's looking like Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street. It's the funniest thing in the world. But
He looks like I saw someone compare it with the car wash boss that Walter has in Breaking Bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I told Flame to send you that meme.
Yeah, that's the I love it.
He's like, fuck you and your eyebrows.
Your eyebrows. It is people trolling because you always have haters and trolls, but I think that when it runs, seeing Last of Us at 60 FPS beauty with, oh my god, imagine part 2. Oh,
I mean, it was just funny
I
just to see Greg Miller kind of cap on that because you can rightly play Last of Us. He's, he's like, here's the thing you should do about the Last of Us Part 1. If it's not working on your PC, you turn that shit off. You go to your PS5.
he'll say, what was it? Well, first of all, you got Steam open, right? And that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. You need to shut that off, and if you live with someone smarter than you, they're gonna have a PS5. And you're gonna play the game, and you see, you'll press X, and there's the beauty. It already loads in. And speaking of things that blow your mind, here's a bar.
Here's a
Here's a bar of soap. You PC players have never showered since the last time your parents bathed you. I'm like, oh my god. But it's nothing. If you know Greg, you know that he does
he
not
went in, bro.
like PC gaming.
He went
But
in.
he doesn't like keyboards. He doesn't like PC gaming in general. So like this is just natural. Like yeah, it's expected from him to troll this way. Um, I'm not a fan of playing on my keyboard. That's why I have a controller attached to my PC. Uh,
Same.
I get it, but yeah, he was petty. He was so dumb.
He was going in on them. I enjoyed every second. I thought it was
It's
hilarious.
hilarious.
He did some good trolling there. But yeah, I mean, back to The Last of Us Part 1 just being it. It's just crazy to me. And the fact that this game released the way it is. And I made a tweet before that it kind of makes me really scared for The Last of Us factions now. Not that it's going to run horribly on PS5, but the fact that if they do plan to simultaneously release factions on PC and PS5, then it's oh boy, this is a really steep hill to climb up if they plan on doing that. Yeah, what do you guys think of the launch? Does it make you apprehensive for any of Naughty Dog's future releases?
I mean, not for me at least. Because this is, I just feel like lately, not just Naughty Dog, but Sony with the PC ports it's like they don't care. They don't market it. They don't really optimize it to the full potential. It just feels like they're like, yeah, no, yeah, put it on PC.
That
And they
wasn't
don't
the
even
case
talk
for
about it.
Spider-Man or God of War though.
Yeah, but that was like some of the first ones that they did. They just lost interest through time.
Well,
No,
And
no,
Spider-Man
certain.
was
it's well because Nixus worked on those, right? So
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, Nixus worked on both Spider-Man ports. The rumor is that they're also working on the Ratchet port.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Um, listen, I mean, these studios, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, did Guerrilla mostly handle their port for Horizon? I,
Um,
I don't know if
I,
they did.
I'm not sure who did the port itself, but I know they did a lot of the fixing, which is
Right.
partially why Forbidden West was a little bit delayed too.
And for this one, this was mostly Naughty Dog. I know there's been like some mix up of like, oh, was it Iron Galaxy or was it Naughty Dog? It was Naughty Dog. Like Naughty Dog's name is solely on the Steam page. Um, but so I guess my thing is that like
Real
obviously
quick, so
Nixus.
the recent patches for Horizon were Nexus.
Okay.
Continue.
Obviously Nixus. I mean that's why they were brought into the fold. They know what they're doing. They have experience with this stuff, so that's why those Spider-Man ports were as solid as they were. Um, my thing is like you gotta get Nixus on everything. like,
Yeah.
plain and simple. Plain and simple. Going forward, you do not release a PC port without Nixus on like heading that project up.
Yeah.
We need their stamp of
So
approval.
No,
yeah,
I agree with you. That's why there needs to be so much better collaboration. Like keep first party studios on first party hardware and let Nixus do
yeah,
their thing.
for sure.
1000%.
Like
No, for sure.
like to me, I thought that would be like kind of like the go-to. I thought that would be like the no-brainer, but Naughty Dog seems to be a little bit more possessive when it comes to their stuff. It's considering they what was it? Oh god, what was the support studio for Last of Us Part 1, Soul? The one that worked on the project first and Naughty Dog took over.
Wait, what happened?
Who was the support studio for Last of Us Part 1 before Naughty Dog took over in the project?
Well, there there's some like weird like I don't know if like the original reporting was correct because it was like the secret Sony San Diego team or whatever was like they pitched like Uncharted 1 remake first or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became Last of Us, and then Naughty Dog took that over themselves or something. I don't know. Like we don't know how true like all that stuff is. That's
Okay.
just like rumor or whatever. But yeah.
Okay, I'll hold my tongue then. Just because I think it seems like Naughty Dog's really possessed The Last of Us, and for good reason. But
Yeah.
at this point, it's like, come on, guys. If you don't have the experience, if you don't know, you better ask somebody, kind of thing.
But at
Yeah,
the same time, like to be fair, it's like you will never get that experience unless you kind of try it for yourself. You know what I mean?
true.
So it's like your hope is that like by going through this, they are better prepared for like whatever PC port they do next. Uh, but again, that's a hope. So I don't know.
I mean, it's not like they have a string of failures. This is again, yeah, it's like you said, like dipping their toes into this new thing. Uh, I don't feel apprehensive for the future. If anything, I feel more confident that they're gonna see this and be like, okay, now we know where to look when optimizing, where to look when porting, what to do, who to ask, who to consult. Nexus, who to who to go to, because you got to talk to the big pockets, the people that actually know what they're doing. Uh, and while possessive, I don't think they're prideful, right? Because I think with Sony, but being the parent company, they're quite collaborative. I don't know if they're like that with other companies. But I don't feel apprehensive about factions. If anything, I'm looking forward to it, because now they're diving into new territory. And factions on PC, oh man, that'd be crazy. We're gonna die a lot if there's crossplay. We're done.
There's probably a lot of hackers too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, sir. Putting those big eyebrows on people.
I mean, just shooting
hell out
through
of it.
walls and listening modes and all that crap. But yeah.
Yes, sir. Aimbot. No, that's horrible. Unlimited resources. But yeah, no, I don't feel bad about the next whatever they have coming up. If this was like a history with, if it's like Ubisoft, it's like you already know the reputation. It's like, oh, new Assassin's Creed, you're like, all right. Mirage, I'm like, yeah, they're going back to their roots, but it's like, what do you have that tells me that the quality is there? You have they have their criteria for quality, but there's no quality inherently in it. So I don't know. So, I don't know how like if Soul, how do you feel like when you think about Witcher 4? Do you feel apprehensive after like the initial fuck up with Cyberpunk, or do you feel confident after they fixed it?
Um. Oh, well, actually, to that point, did you hear that they like restarted development on that?
Witcher 4?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Oh,
I forget what the exact quote was, but yeah, they. I think it was something along the lines of like, "Hey, it's better to start while to restart while we're so early into it than restart when we're like actually like knee deep in development on this project." So yeah, they like kind of went back to the drawing board on it.
okay. Glass
Um,
half full.
but uh, I don't. It all depends on like obviously I'm not gonna get it. I'm gonna wait for reviews, obviously, like I usually
Yeah, yeah,
always.
but like, don't think about like when you're getting it, like just the idea of getting it, because I think
Well,
day
I'm gonna get it no
one
matter
or
what.
not. Okay, it didn't make you like apprehensive.
I mean, I guess like a little bit maybe, but then again, like
Okay.
I played the game when the next gen version was released, and so that was my experience. Was like it was solid, like there was no bugs or anything like that. So like,
Mm.
I'm that was my first exposure to that game, so it's like I guess I'm just confident like either way. Um,
But seeing how like in this case, like I think with The Last of Us, kind of the same where prior there's no bad history, but then there's this one major thing that's like, okay, this kind of like could signify like things to come, but then you see how they kind of like damage control and they really like put it in to fix it. Uh, I don't know. I think it's just a matter of how the company pivots and how what they communicate. Um, if Naughty Dog was just like, yeah, no, it's gonna stay like that because you guys suck. No company's gonna say that because they're not dumb. Uh, but I don't know. I just don't wanna. I don't, I'm just imagining Macho being like, yeah, I knew part two sucks. Part one on PC sucks. Factions is gonna suck. Naughty Dog just sucks.
Why are you imagining that when I never, I never said
You
part
hate
two was
you're a hater.
ass.
You hate Last of Us. You hater.
I played it before you, you little. Never mind.
What? You little
Never mind.
numbskull.
No, I was gonna say something that I shouldn't be saying on a live stream, but I played it
oh.
before you. I love this series before you.
Hey, let's not talk about who played what here, okay? It's a
Exactly,
sensitive
exactly,
topic. It's a sensitive topic.
exactly, exactly.
Right, Soul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that is The Last of Us on PC. Listen, all y'all dirty, unwashed PC gamers should have played it on PlayStation. Simple as
Get
that.
that dove. The dove was it dove? The
Or,
bar soap.
or you know what? You know why people are gonna miss E3? It's because they won't be able to get those Xbox body washes anymore. You know?
Wow, wow.
Hey,
Hey
man.
yo, then
Them
what I
them
can
them
say to
shits probably
that,
smell like plastic anyway.
go to atlas.com and get yourself some deodorant, get yourself some candles,
Yeah,
and get Persona 5 while you're at it.
absolutely, absolutely.
Hey man, Persona the P Sound Live or Super Live or whatever the goddamn concert is called is in April. They're teasing some quote unquote exciting news, man. I
Hey
don't know.
baby,
I
we're
don't
gonna see.
know.
Hey, we're gonna see some green colors and some white colors. Yes, sir.
Hey man.
I hate
Hey, I
you.
don't know. I ain't even hold you.
I hate you.
You already
But
know, baby.
Oh my
yes, sir.
god.
Yes, sir.
Oh my god.
Listen, fool me once, fool me twice, but I got faith.
Oh,
Got
they're
faith.
teasing us at this point, Soul.
That's right.
Fucking
Listen,
weebs,
guys.
man. Fucking weebs.
Listen,
Pushing
that's
up your
gonna
it's
do it
pushing up your
for.
glasses up and like you're cool and shit. Yeah.
Listen, that's gonna do it for DualShock Sense episode 96. I want to thank everyone for watching. Before we get out of here, I want to remind everyone to go ahead and like the podcast, share it out, all that good stuff. Yeah, we're gonna get started with these outros. Macho, what do you got going on this week, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's real quick. Final Fantasy 16 went gold just the other day, so
Yes,
they got their
sir.
master version. It's gonna be printed on disc. They're shipping. They're gonna be printing out those collector's editions. I'm excited. It's a little early for that kind of gold master
Very
version, but you know, I'm not complaining about it. I'm glad they finished the game up, and it's just started. They have enough time, no crunch needed. Yeah, no delays. So really excited. June 22nd. Here we go. But this weekend it's going to be all Octopath Traveler 2 Midnight Suns. I'm really enjoying the back and forth between that. And then Better Call Saul. Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. I'm excited for that. It's been rainy. It's going to be raining all day, fellas. So I'm really excited to chill and have some chicken
Yes,
Alfredo and
sir.
just play some
yeah.
games, man. It sounds
Oh
Damn.
yeah.
a damn good weekend. And also, just real quick, too, we mentioned on Twitter, but for people who want a podcast here, we're gonna be moving to bi-weekly format, but of course it's gonna be playing it by ear depending on the topics and all that kind of stuff. But so just stay tuned to our social channels. Follow us on Twitter or hit the bell notification for YouTube here, and we'll let you know when we go live. So just tune in for that.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Well, what about you, man?
Well, I today I'll be downloading Destiny 2 and mentally preparing for the overload of stuff that I'm gonna have to see and get accustomed to. See how long I last, but I'm hoping I go all the way through Lightfall, all the way to the end of Lightfall. Um, I'm gonna I said how I downloaded Black Ops 4 earlier and deleted it. I'm gonna download Black Ops 3, see if that sticks. I just want to play an FPS, and that's why Destiny 2 is also being downloaded. Um, Aside from that, a single player game that I probably gonna start tomorrow night, um, depending on how it goes, is Resident Evil 4, the remake, which I want to get into, but I know that once I start, I'm not gonna be able to stop. Um, and tomorrow, boys, I'm gonna go to a certain convention happening in Florida. It's something called the Mega Convention.
The
Mega Con.
Sweatercon.
Yes, sir. Gonna be carrying that deodorant with me. That's what I'm saying. Go to outlets.com, buy your deodorant. Um, I'll be going to MegaCon tomorrow. See how that goes, man. Is this the slowest day supposedly? I know how's that's gone in the past. It's not true. It's not the slowest. It's not the slowest. But yeah, man, that's kind of my plans. What about you, Sol?
Well, real quick. Well, if you want to play FPS, why don't you check out Metroid Prime Remastered?
Hey, man, and that's up $40. Yeah, that's not a bad. It's not a bad idea. I can play on that OLED beauty. I'll check it out.
Sheesh. Um, yeah. As for me, what am I doing? Just more Injustice 2. I don't know. I also downloaded the Shadowrun trilogy. Uh, Continuing with my CRPG fix. So I've kind of been like dabbling into that. So maybe after I finish Injustice 2, I'll go back to that.
You are the
Um,
definition of don't let them know what your next move is. Like, where do these games come from?
a lot of research. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, I also downloaded goddamn Tachia. Played a little bit of that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
interesting.
Definitely need to get back into that.
Free on
Um,
PlayStation, baby.
yeah, man. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And yeah, so we will see you guys possibly next week, or like Macho said, just keep an eye out on our socials for when we go live and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
if not next week, then the 15th we'll be back with
yeah,
all the
for sure.
topics. So
But until then, we will catch you guys next time for DualShock Sense episode 97. Yeah, until then, peace out.